Hi, this is Dan Smith, and I want to make a quick video for you. I got a little bit of an inspiration this afternoon, so before I lost it, I want to make a video. The city of Boise, where I live, is doing some construction in front of my home, and I grew up here. And back in the late 50s and 60s, this was a very quiet neighborhood in the country. My city began to really grow exponentially in the early 70s, and we are now in the city limits on an extremely busy road. I bought a little bit over an acre from my mother back in 1989, and I've lived here ever since. Now, we have never had a sidewalks here, and now the city is actually putting in sidewalks for us, but they're only doing it on one side of the road right now. So in the process of building the sidewalks, they have had to tear things up in order to rebuild the road and to put in the new sidewalk. And I was thinking about how that applies to life as well. In the beginning of the process, there were people out here running around, measuring and painting marks on the road. They were marking out the boundaries of what needs to be torn up and what can stay. And there were permits that needed to be taken out and with the city, and they needed to get the permission to tear things up, and there were plans drawn up to certain specifications. There were different utility and power lines that had to be moved. So each one of the different companies, the utility companies, was responsible for coming out and moving their own lines. And there was the pavement. It was marked out and it was cut. They ran a cutter down through there and they cut the pavement so that they could remove part of the pavement that was in the way. Then they brought in some big equipment that could dig up the dirt that needed to be removed, and the excess dirt was then hauled away in a big dump truck. Now there's a deep trench out there where they'll bring in some new gravel, sand and gravel, and they'll make a good solid base for the new walkway, and then they'll be able to repave the road. So in front of my house right now is a pillar of orange cones and traffic's being rerouted. And you know what? Yeah, it's kind of annoying. But when it is finished, it will be very nice because I like to take walks with Glenna, and it's kind of a dangerous place to walk in some places because there's not much of a shoulder in some places where we can walk. And I was thinking about life and how, really this kind of parallels construction. You see, sometimes we have to stop and do a little bit of remodel on ourselves. I actually had a drug problem back in the late 60s and all the way through the 80s, and actually the 70s, excuse me. And you know what? My life was kind of a train wreck for quite a few years. And there came a time when I had to do a little bit of reconstruction on myself. And I've actually done that several times over the years. Now, I just turned 60 years old. So I've been around the block a time or two. And over the years, there have been several times that I've had to do a total reconstruction on myself. It is painful to do, but if you don't do it, then like the stretches of road along where I like to go walking with my wife, it can be very dangerous. Now, I permanently injured my back when I was 23 years old. I've lived in a certain degree of pain ever since then. I had a brother at age 37 that was killed in May of 1980 in an industrial accident. I had to go through the agony of quitting drugs in 1981. I went through divorce in 1998. That was very painful. And I was $100,000 in debt when I went through that divorce. Now, all these things are opportunities to start again. Yes, I miss my brother, and I always will. Yes, quitting drugs is hard to do, but you know what? I've been drug free now for over 32 years, and I have a brain back that actually works, at least pretty good. But you know what? I'm remarried now, and I'm actually debt free, and that's been a huge blessing. I've reconstructed my life several times now, and am in fact in the middle of a reconstruction right now. And I was a painting contractor for 26 years, and I shut my business down a few years ago when the market tanked. And I've been struggling, to learn a new way of making a living. And yes, it has taken me a lot longer to do than what I thought it would. But I now understand internet marketing now in a way that I never understood it before. So at this point in life, instead of worrying about having to be a Walmart greeter and working until the day I die, I actually have a way now to make a living and a life. So new construction, it can be very messy and can actually be quite painful at times. But sometimes the best thing that can be done is to tear up the pavement and to put in a new sidewalk. Sometimes it is taking out a wall and putting in a new family room off the back of the house. Sometimes you actually have to take out an old toilet in order to replace the floor and then put in a new toilet. Now, I was making very good money when my painting business was going strong, but the economy actually shut me down when the bottom fell out. Now, I didn't choose the economy to shut down. It just happened. I didn't choose my brother to get killed at age 37. It just happened. I didn't want a divorce. It was actually against my will, but it happened. I didn't want to be in debt, but I was. I didn't want to become addicted to drugs when I smoked my first joint, but after years of doing drugs, that's where I ended up. But you know what? All these things happen, and they're part of life. But you know what? I've had a great life in spite of all these things. Life is good. I had to look for the good in life, and it's there. I had a love-hate relationship with the painting business, and it was actually literally killing me. And I had to have it pried out of my hands. But today, I'm happy that I'm no longer a painter. I don't have to paint houses anymore, and the stress alone was actually killing me. The paint fumes were killing me. So it's actually a blessing that the economy shut down because today my life will be better because of it. Now in Romans 8:28 it says that God causes all things to work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich that every adversity lies the seed of an equivalent or a greater benefit. So yeah, you know what? Going through the problems of life can be painful and difficult, but in the end, quite often, life actually gets better after we go through it. Do you have a painful situation financially that's going on in your life right now? There is a solution out there. But you know what? You may have to go through some pain in order to discover it. Now, if you are in debt, you may have to make a sacrifice in order to get out of debt. If you were affected by the economy shutting down like I was, then you may have to learn a new skill. I had to, and it's been challenging, but it's been worth it. Now, if you're looking for a way to make a new life, then I want you to click on the link that's below this article or this video. There is a solution out there, but you may have to go through some pain to discover it. Now, if you are in debt, you may have to make a sacrifice in order to get out of debt. If you are affected by the economy shutting down, then you may have to learn a new skill. I had to, and it's been challenging, but it's been well worth it. If you are looking for a way to make a new life, I want you to click the link below this video. And when you do, you'll see another page open up. And I want you to put your email in that address box there so that I can send you an email with a video on it. And I want you to watch that video that pops up. Now, it's not very long, but the fact is that it may change the entire direction of your life. Like the construction zone in front of my house. When it's finished, I'll have a safe place to take a walk. And you know what? You may just end up with the most blessed life that you can imagine, even though right now it is tough going. Yeah, that's it. This is Dan Smith. Click that link below. Have a fantastic day. Take a look at that video, and I'll catch you on my next videos. So this is Dan Smith. Have a great day.